Technology and Livelihood Education. Industrial Arts for Grade 7. Quarter 4 Week 2 Part 1. Our topic is Codes and Standards in Industrial Arts Services. The National Building Code of the Philippines. The content standard for this lesson is: the learners demonstrate an understanding of the concepts in industrial arts services. The performance standard is: the learners perform mensuration and calculations following safety precautions. Here are the learning competency and learning objectives for this lesson. Short review of the previous lesson. Direction. Identify the different careers or business opportunities in industrial arts being shown in the picture. What do you think the reason why this fire happened? What do you think will happen if you do this with the electrical wiring? Content area vocabulary. Republic Act is a piece of legislation used to create policy in order to carry out the principles of the Constitution. It is crafted and passed by the Congress of the Philippines and approved by the President of Philippines. It can only be repealed by a similar act of Congress. Fire-resistive materials, so resistant to fire that for a specified time and under conditions of a standard heat intensity it will not fail structurally or allow transit of heat and will not permit the side away from the fire to become hotter than a specified temperature. Hazard, a process, phenomenon or human activity that may cause loss of life, injury or other health impacts, property damage, social and economic disruption, or environmental degradation. Building, a structure with a roof and walls, such as a house, school, store, or factory. Permit, an official document giving someone authorization to do something. Dwelling, a house, apartment, or other place of residence. Do you know the story of the Three Little Pigs? The story of the Three Little Pigs is about three pigs who each build a house to protect themselves from a big bad wolf. The first pig builds a house of straw, the second pig builds one of sticks, and the third pig thoroughly planned and builds a sturdy house of bricks. The wolf blows down the straw and stick houses, but the brick house withstands his huffing and puffing. In the end, the wolf is unable to blow down the brick house, and the three pigs live safely. The moral of the story is that hard work and planning pay off in the long run. 1. Who are the main characters and what are their qualities? 2. What materials were used to build their houses? 3. What happened to the main characters when confronted by the wolf? 1. What is the reason why the wolf can't blow down the third pig's house? 2. What is the moral lesson of the story? The wolf cannot blow down the house of the third pig because it is made of bricks, which are strong and sturdy. Unlike the straw and stick houses, the brick house is built with more effort and thorough planning, making it resistant to the wolf's huffing and puffing. The moral lesson of the story is that hard work, careful planning, and persistence are important. While the other pigs took shortcuts by building weaker houses, the third pig's dedication to building a strong, lasting home ensured his safety. It teaches that investing time and effort into something is often worth it in the end. Can you relate the story in real life? In what areas can you compare it? The National Building Code of the Philippines, or Republic Act No. 6451. 4. Residential construction. The National Building Code of the Philippines, Presidential Decree No. 1096. Adopting a National Building Code of the Philippines, thereby revising Republic Act No. 6541, RA 6541. Chapter 1, General Provisions. Section 101. Title: This decree shall be known as the National Building Code of the Philippines and shall hereinafter be referred to as the Code. Section 102. Declaration of Policy. It is hereby declared to be the policy of the state to safeguard life, health, property, and public welfare, consistent with the principles of sound environmental management and control, and to this end, make it the purpose of this code to provide for all buildings and structures a framework of minimum standards and requirements to regulate and control their location, site, design, quality of materials, construction, use, occupancy, and maintenance. Section 103. Scope and application. A. The provisions of this code shall apply to the design, location, siting, construction, alteration, repair, conversion, use, occupancy, maintenance, moving, demolition of, and addition to public and private buildings and structures, except traditional indigenous family dwellings as defined herein. B. Buildings and/or structures constructed before the approval of this code shall not be affected thereby except when alterations, additions, conversions, or repairs are to be made therein, in which case this code shall apply only to portions to be altered, added, converted, or repaired. Section 104. General Building Requirements. A. All buildings or structures as well as accessory facilities thereto shall conform, in all respects, to the principles of safe construction and must be suited to the purpose for which they are designed. B. Buildings or structures intended to be used for the manufacture and/or production of any kind of article or product shall observe adequate environmental safeguards. C. Buildings or structures and all parts thereof as well as all facilities found therein shall be maintained in safe, sanitary, and good working condition. Section 105. Site requirements. The land or site upon which will be constructed any building or structure, or any ancillary or auxiliary facility thereto, shall be sanitary, hygienic, or safe. In the case of sites or buildings intended for use as human habitation or abode, the same shall be at a safe distance, as determined by competent authorities, from streams or bodies of water and/or sources of air considered to be polluted, from a volcano or volcanic site and/or any other building considered to be a potential source of fire or explosion. Chapter 2. Administration and Enforcement. Section 201. Responsibility for administration and enforcement. The administration and enforcement of the provisions of this code, including the imposition of penalties for administrative violations thereof, is hereby vested in the Secretary of Public Works, Transportation and Communications, hereinafter referred to as the Secretary. Section 202. Technical Staff. The Secretary is hereby authorized to constitute and provide in his department a professional staff composed of highly qualified architects, engineers, and technicians who possess diversified and professional experience in the field of building design and construction. Section 203. General powers and functions of the Secretary under this code. For purposes of carrying out the provisions of this code, the Secretary shall exercise the following general powers and functions: formulate policies, plans, standards and guidelines on building design, construction, use, occupancy and maintenance, in accordance with this code. 2. Issue and promulgate rules and regulations to implement the provisions of this code and ensure compliance with policies, plans, standards and guidelines formulated under paragraph 1 of this section. 3. Evaluate, review, approve and/or take final action on changes and/or amendments to existing referral codes as well as on the incorporation of other referral codes which are not yet expressly made part of this code. 4. Prescribe and fix the amount of fees and other charges that the building official shall collect in connection with the performance of regulatory functions. Section 205. Building officials. Except as otherwise provided herein, the building official shall be responsible for carrying out the provisions of this code in the field as well as the enforcement of orders and decisions made pursuant thereto, due to the exigencies of the service. The Secretary may designate incumbent public works district engineers, city engineers and municipal engineers to act as building officials in their respective areas of jurisdiction. The designation made by the Secretary under this section shall continue until regular positions of building official are provided or unless sooner terminated for causes provided by law or decree. Chapter 3. Permits and Inspections, Section 301. Building Permits. No person, firm or corporation, including any agency or instrumentality of the government shall erect, construct, alter, repair, move, convert or demolish any building or structure or cause the same to be done without first obtaining a building permit therefor from the building official assigned in the place where the subject building is located, or the building work is to be done. Section 308, Inspection and Supervision of Work. The owner of the building who is issued or granted a building permit under this code shall engage the services of a duly licensed architect or civil engineer to undertake the full-time inspection and supervision of the construction work. Such architect or civil engineer may or may not be the same architect or civil engineer who is responsible for the design of the building. It is understood, however, that in either case, the designing architect or civil engineer is not precluded from conducting inspection of the construction work to check and determine compliance with the plans and specifications of the building as submitted. There shall be kept at the job site at all times a logbook wherein the actual progress of construction, including tests conducted, weather conditions and other pertinent data are to be recorded. Upon completion of the construction, the said licensed architect or civil engineer shall submit the logbook, duly signed and sealed, to the building official. He shall also prepare and submit a certificate of completion of the project, stating that the construction of building conforms to the provisions of this code as well as with the approved plans and specifications. Chapter 4. Types of Construction, Section 401. Types of construction. For purposes of this code, all buildings proposed for construction shall be classified or identified according to the following types. 1. Type 1. Type 1 buildings shall be of wood construction. The structural elements may be any of the materials permitted by this code. 2. Type 2. Type 2 buildings shall be of wood construction with protective fire-resistant materials and 1 hour fire-resistive throughout. Except that permanent non-bearing partitions may use fire-retardant treated wood within the framing assembly. 3. Type 3 Type 3 buildings shall be of masonry and wood construction. Structural elements may be any of the materials permitted by this code, provided that the building shall be 1 hour fire-resistive throughout. Exterior walls shall be of incombustible fire-resistive construction. 4. Type 4. Type 4 buildings shall be of steel, iron, concrete, or masonry construction. Walls, ceilings, and permanent partitions shall be of incombustible, fire-resistive construction, except that permanent non-bearing partitions of 1 hour fire-resistive construction may use fire-retardant treated wood within the framing assembly. Chapter 7. Classification and General Requirement of all buildings by use or occupancy, Section 701. Occupancy classified. A. Buildings proposed for construction shall be identified according to their use or the character of its occupancy and shall be classified as follows. 1. Group A, residential dwellings. Group A occupancies shall be dwellings. 2. Group B, residentials, hotels, and apartments. Group B occupancies shall be multiple dwelling units including boarding or lodging houses, hotels, apartment buildings, row houses, convents, monasteries and other similar building each of which accommodates more than 10 persons. 3. Group C, Education and Recreation. Group C occupancies shall be buildings used for school or daycare purposes, involving assemblage for instruction, education, or recreation, and not classified in Group I or in Division 1 and 2 or Group H occupancies. 4. Group D, Institutional. Group D occupancies shall include Division 1. Mental hospitals, mental sanitaria, jails, prisons, reformatories, and buildings where personal liberties of inmates are similarly restrained. Division 2. nurseries for full-time care of children under kindergarten age, hospitals, sanitaria, nursing homes with non-ambulatory patients, and similar buildings each accommodating more than 5 persons. Division 3. Nursing homes for ambulatory patients, homes for children of kindergarten age or over, each accommodating more than 5 persons, provided that Group D occupancies shall not include buildings used only for private or family group dwelling purposes. 5. Group E. Business and Mercantile Group E occupancies shall include, Division 1. Gasoline filling and service stations, storage garages and boat storage structures where no work is done except exchange of parts and maintenance requiring no open flame, welding, or the use of highly flammable liquids. Division 2. Wholesale and retail stores, office buildings, drinking and dining establishments having an occupant load of less than 100 persons, printing plants, police and fire stations, factories and workshops using not highly flammable or combustible materials and paint stores without bulk handlings. Division 3. Aircraft hangars and open parking garages where no repair work is done except exchange of parts and maintenance requiring no open flame, welding or the use of highly flammable liquids. 6. Group F. Industrial Group F occupancies shall include ice plants, power plants, pumping plants, cold storage, and creameries, factories and workshops using incombustible and non-explosive materials, and storage and sales rooms for incombustible and non-explosive materials. 7. Group G. Storage and hazardous groups G occupancies shall include, Division 1. Storage and handling of hazardous and highly flammable material. Division 2. Storage and handling of flammable materials, dry cleaning plants using flammable liquids, paint stores with bulk handling, paint shops and spray painting rooms. Division 3. Woodworking establishments, planing mills and box factories, shops, factories where loose combustible fibers or dust are manufactured, processed, or generated, warehouses where highly combustible materials is stored. Division 4. Repair garages. Division 5. Aircraft's repair hangars. 8. Group H. Assembly other than Group I. Group H occupancies shall include, Division 1. Any assembly building with a stage and an occupant load of less than 1,000 in the building. Division 2. Any assembly building without stage and having an occupant load of 300 or more in the building. Division 3. Any assembly building without a stage and having an occupant load of less than 300 in the building. Division 4. Stadia, reviewing stands, amusement park structures not included within Group I or in Division 1, 2, and 3 of this group. 9. Group I. Assembly occupant load 1,000 or more. Group I occupancies shall be any assembly building with a stage and an occupant load of 1,000 or more in the building. 10. Group J. Accessory Group J occupancies shall include. Division 1. Private garage, carports, sheds and agricultural buildings. Division 2. Fences over 1.80 meters high, tanks and towers. B. Other subgroupings or divisions within Groups A to J may be determined by the Secretary. Any other occupancy not mentioned specifically in this section, or about which there is any question, shall be included in the group which it most nearly resembles based on the existing or proposed life and fire hazard. Section 708. Minimum requirements for Group A dwellings. A. Dwelling location and lot occupancy. The dwelling shall occupy not more than 90% of a corner lot and 80% of an inside lot, and subject to the provisions on easements of light and view of the Civil Code of Philippines, shall be at least 2 meters from the property line. B. Light and ventilation. Every dwelling shall be so constructed and arranged as to provide adequate light and ventilation as provided under Section 805 to Section 811 of this Code. See Sanitation. Every dwelling shall be provided with at least one sanitary toilet and adequate washing and drainage facilities. D. Foundation footings shall be of sufficient size and strength to support the load of the dwelling and shall be at least 250 mm thick and 600 mm below the surface of the ground. E. Post. The dimensions of wooden posts shall be those found in Table 708A, Dimensions of Wooden Posts, Annex B1. Each post shall be anchored to such footing by straps and bolts of adequate size. F. floor the live load of the first floor shall be at least 200 kilograms per square meter, and for the second floor, at least 150 kilograms per square meter. G. Roof. The wind load for roofs shall be at least 120 kilograms per square meter for vertical projection. H. Stairs. Stairs shall be at least 750 millimeters in clear width, with a rise of 200 millimeters and a minimum run of 200 millimeters. I. Entrance and exit. There shall be at least one entrance and another one for exit. J. Electrical requirements. All electrical installation shall conform to the requirements of the Philippine Electrical Code. K. Mechanical requirements. Mechanical systems and/or equipment installation shall be subject to the requirement of the Philippine Mechanical Engineering Code.
A time to remember. This is Teacher Mylene. Thank you for watching and please subscribe to my YouTube channel.